Let's bring in a guy named Stephen Strang. He's from Orlando, Florida. He is a Christian journalist, founder of Charisma magazine. He's an evangelical. And he's watching the social strange shift in this country, as we all are. Let's deal with the immigration first, the migrants first. You are called upon as an evangelical Christian by Jesus himself to honor the poor, to help the poor whenever you can help them, all right? So some religious people make the argument, we got to let all these poor people into the country in order to help them, and that's what Jesus would do. How do you answer that?
Well, that's a good question, Bill. Of course, we have to help the poor, but that doesn't mean we help the poor in every single situation. And as Christians, we believe that you've got to follow the law. In fact, this is really an issue of law and order. And if the other side wins this, we've got really serious problems in this country. You know, let them go through the process. Let them come into this country. There are a lot of people that will be able to help them. But, you know, you could take this thing to an extreme. What about a criminal who does some heinous crime, but you want to help them and keep the family together? Of course not. We divide them and put them in prison. So, I mean, you have to be logical. You have to understand the bigger issue and not just say religious platitudes.
All right. You've written a book, and it's out this month, called God and Donald Trump and Trump Aftershock: The President's Seismic Impact on Culture and Faith in America. Now, the president is not particularly a religious man. I mean, in a formal basis, doesn't go to church, not really active in any organized religion. Also, his personal life, and no judgments, not making any judgments at all, wouldn't be a religious class exemplar. Did I put that in a charitable way? Okay, so
you sure did. That's an understatement.
He's a secular man, and just like all of us, has made mistakes. We're all sinners. So, but you really are attaching your credibility to President Trump. Why?
Well, my first book, God and Donald Trump, which actually came out a year ago, raised some of the spiritual issues of what's going on in our culture, and raising the issue of, can God raise up an imperfect leader? I say that God has always used imperfect leaders. Just look at the Bible. And what about Winston Churchill or Patton? These are people that I write about too. And I believe, and a lot of Christian believers think, that our country was moving so far to the left that God raised up this disruptor, this person that we didn't expect, and in a lot of ways we didn't even like. But I'll tell you something about Donald Trump. He started to change 15 or 20 years ago. He started watching Christian TV. He started meeting with Christian leaders. He loves to have people pray for him. Remember when Andrew Brunson, that missionary, was released from Turkey? He came back to the White House and knelt and prayed for the president. I mean, what president even lets somebody pray for them? This man is, he's not everything that he's cranked up to be. He's not perfect, but neither am I. Neither is anybody. In fact, Christianity is all about forgiveness and the fact that God can change lives.
What do you think President Trump is doing to help Christians and Jews and other religious people in this country?
Well, you know, the left are really secularists. They want to get rid of every bit of religion, you know, Merry Christmas, all that kind of stuff, all the way to criminalizing if somebody doesn't want to bake a cake that they think is against their conscience. And Donald Trump has helped put a stop to that, or at least slowed it down. And he has said, hey, religious freedom is important. Religious liberty is important, not only in this country, but in other countries. I mean, look what he did for Andrew Brunson. He made an international incident. Turkey's lira plummeted, their stock market plummeted because of those sanctions. Other presidents would have let that poor man just sit in jail and rot, but yet Donald Trump takes an active interest. He made promises he'd be involved. He's kept his word. And one of the leaders that I...
He got the guy in North Korea out too. All right, so you believe that he overall is on your side, the side of Christians and believers and religious people.
Absolutely. You know, one of
Why?
the leaders I interviewed said that he may not be our most religious president, but he's the most pro-religion president we've had in a long, long time.
Why do you think the media, Hollywood, very powerful CEOs in Silicon Valley, all, I'm not going to say they hate religion, but they're almost dismissive. There you go. They're dismissive of people like you, and to some extent me. I mean, I'm obviously a traditional guy and wrote a book called Culture Warrior that outlined exactly what was going to happen 10 years ago that's happened. Why are they so dismissive toward people of faith?
You know, secularism is almost like a religion. The fervor is like a religious fervor almost, and in their worldview, anything goes. You can sleep with anyone, you can be any gender you want to be. I mean, we could go on and on. You can smoke what you want, drink what you want, and it's religious people and Bible values, Judeo-Christian values that are in their way. Now, these are a part of our culture. They're a part going back to our founding fathers, and they want to get rid of all this. They see us as a threat. And a lot of times they just dismiss us as being unimportant. But Donald Trump has brought some of these things to the forefront. They hate Donald Trump for the same reasons they would hate someone like me if they knew me better. And all we want to do is live our lives by the Bible, raise our kids in the church, work hard, try to make a living for ourselves. Christians basically don't impose their values on the other people. Now, they'll invite them to join in their values or invite them to know Jesus. But the other side is trying to criminalize what we do, or at least make us laughing stocks. And if you believe certain ways, you're a sexist, a racist, the whole drill.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's getting old. It's
They
been
want to
going on for
marginalize.
years.
I think you hit it, Stephen. I think you hit it. They want to marginalize their opposition. They want to make people realize, like these millennials that we just told you about, these religious people, they're fanatics. They don't really know anything. It's all about the person. Once again, the book that Stephen wrote is God and Donald Trump and Trump Aftershock.
Two different books.
Yes. There's two different books.
Yes. This is
Trump
Aftershock. It's a brand new book. It just came out, and it talks about the aftershocks after the earthquake of his election.
Okay, good. Now, God and Donald Trump is a year ago, right?
Yes.
And Trump
It's still
Aftershock.
available at the stores. But
So
Trump
it'd be good to read them
Aftershock
both. And also check out Charisma Magazine, which you may be interested in as well. Hey, Stephen, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it. Have a great Christmas season, okay?
Thank you, Bill. Merry Christmas to you too.
All right.